Welcome to today's Explainer. If you're actively navigating the chaotic and, let's be real, highly competitive world of global education and career planning, you know exactly how overwhelming it can get. You're looking at studying abroad, entering this dynamic international job market, and facing an absolute mountain of high-stakes exams. There is just so much on the line, and quite frankly, it's incredibly easy to get completely paralyzed by the sheer volume of what you need to achieve. But today, we're going to break down how to conquer that overwhelm, literally, through the power of structured foundations. Okay, let's dive into this. Are you running before walking? Have you ever felt that sudden panic of jumping straight into complex, high-level studying without having a solid baseline underneath you? It's a super common trap. When the pressure's on and those deadlines are looming, our first instinct is to just grab the absolute hardest practice material we can find and try to brute force our way through it. But trying to tackle a massive exam or a major career transition without the right foundation? Actually, scratch that. It's quite literally like trying to run a marathon before you've even figured out how to walk. And when you skip those foundational steps, you inevitably crash headfirst into what we call the learning wall. Imagine this for a second. You're an intermediate English speaker. You've got a decent grasp of the language, but then you open up a thick, advanced IELTS textbook, and suddenly it genuinely feels like a completely foreign language. The vocabulary is incredibly dense, the academic structures are confusing, and the frustration just hits you like a ton of bricks. Honestly, we have all been there. But here's the thing. Staring at a page that makes zero sense to you is absolutely not a lack of intelligence. It's simply a symptom of a missing foundation. To truly understand the mountain we're climbing here, let's demystify the test by walking through its 4 core pillars. Each of these carries a very specific high-level challenge. For listening, you aren't just hearing words, you're deciphering diverse accents and catching really minute details on the fly. For reading, you're navigating incredibly complex academic texts, and you're doing it fast. In writing, you are tasked with constructing logical, academic arguments totally from scratch. And for speaking, it's all about communicating naturally in a super high-pressure, face-to-face interview. So as you can see, this isn't just about memorizing a dictionary. Which brings us to an absolutely crucial realization. It's not just a test of knowledge, it's a test of skills and speed. Let's think about it like building an engine. If your mental engine isn't built to process English at high speeds, under strict time limits, no amount of rote memorization is going to save you on test day. Skipping your foundational training basically guarantees a breakdown the minute that exam clock starts ticking. Section 1. Bridging the IELTS Gap, the power of pre-IELTS. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how top scorers actually avoid that crash and build their essential mental engine. On the left, we see the traditional, honestly anxiety-inducing approach of taking on the IELTS without a pre-IELTS phase. It's all stumbling over basic grammar and relying entirely on rote memorization. It's stressful and it's inefficient. But look at the alternative, on the right. With a dedicated pre-IELTS phase, students experience confident, smooth writing and interactive fluency. They aren't panicking because they've already built the mental infrastructure they need to handle the complex tasks the exam throws at them. Let's walk through the logical steps of this pre-IELTS strategy. Step 1. You fix your grammar and vocabulary in a low-stakes environment. Again, you are building the engine before you try to drive the car. Step 2. This naturally boosts your confidence. By removing that fear of the unknown, you replace panic with pure preparedness. And step 3, a very practical one, you save money. These exams are expensive. Why pay to take the exam twice when investing in a solid foundation helps you ace it the first time around? Let's look a little closer at these core benefits. First off, mastering fundamental grammar prevents those silly, avoidable mistakes that can literally drop you a whole band score. Then, focusing on pronunciation basics ensures you're understood clearly. Learning complex sentence structure moves you far beyond basic words like good or bad and gets you into the advanced academic phrasing that examiners are specifically looking for to award a band 7 or higher. And finally, building reading stamina means you just won't mentally exhaust yourself halfway through the test. Ultimately, learning in a low-pressure environment without a ticking exam clock hanging over your head allows for genuine comprehension. It's all about turning your good English into IELTS-ready English. It's transforming a casual skill into a standardized, highly tuned asset. Section 2. Next-Gen Language Acquisition, Early Foundations. Let's move to and see how this builds on our engine-building metaphor, especially when we look at how younger students are acquiring these crucial language foundations through next-gen e-learning. This concept of building an engine applies brilliantly to younger learners as well. Methodologies like beyond school skills are completely replacing traditional dry memorization with next-generation e-learning. And these innovations go way beyond simple flashcards. They utilize interactive games, vivid animations, and really practical classroom connections. So instead of forcing young students to stare blankly at grammar charts, they are acquiring the language naturally through immersive, highly interactive tools. By making language acquisition genuinely enjoyable, these methods become highly effective for developing early fluency. It's a simple fact. When education is engaging, the brain just retains the information better. You are creating that robust foundation, that durable engine early on, which sets the absolute perfect stage for lifelong fluency, rather than just cramming to pass a short-term test. Section 3. Designing your career path. Navigating the future. Now, you might be wondering, how can we apply this exact same foundational pre-IELTS mindset to planning our long-term careers? Well, enter the risk model. This framework is prioritized in modern career guidance curriculums, specifically to aid in self-discovery. It acts as a vital compass to align your unique, individual talents with dynamic, high-growth industries. Just as pre-IELTS prepares you for the exam, guided self-discovery through models like risk is the absolutely necessary pre-career foundation everyone needs before they just blindly jump into a rapidly shifting job market. So the crucial point is contrasting these two approaches. On the left, we have traditional prep, training intensely for one highly specific job. The massive danger here is that if that job becomes obsolete, your entire foundation crumbles. But on the right, we have next-gen guidance, focusing on deep self-discovery and building adaptable, durable skills. This approach ensures that no matter how the industry shifts or what crazy new technologies emerge, you have a solid, transferable foundation to rely on. When you commit to building these strong foundations, whether it's mastering the grammar and stamina needed for an English exam, or taking the time to use the risk model to uncover your true career aptitudes, you reach the ultimate destination. You achieve holistic personal development. You align dynamically with industries that actually fit who you are, and most importantly, you secure long-term fulfillment and safeguard your mental well-being against the stress of an incredibly unpredictable world. Which leaves us with this final provocative thought to consider today. Will you memorize for tomorrow, just trying to survive the next exam or the next job interview? Or will you truly build for your future? The choice is entirely yours, but as we've seen throughout this explainer, the strongest structures always start with the deepest foundations. Thank you so much for joining me. Keep learning, keep building, and I'll catch you in the next one.